This is part two, and now we're going to talk about these tokens. So, I could have stayed on and left you guys like for 5 minutes or whatever. The pizza, it's frozen pizza. But I didn't want to do you like that because it's very fucking important that we talk about tokens. So, before I get the wrong thing, to everyone who is not of color, you're getting a hall pass. Alright? Because here's that thing, a lot of people don't understand how things work, and I do. Alright? And if you are not a person of color, this is why I'm giving you the hall pass. I have white relatives. Alright? They might not be thinking in what benefits their colored relatives. A lot of white people don't have colored relatives. They have colored friends, but they don't have relatives. Alright? So in this video, we're going to talk about token blacks, token natives, token Asians, token Hispanics, or Mexicans, which is basically token natives. And then we're going to talk about token women. And I'm going to wrap this shit up. Because, like I said, I'm going to piss everybody off. And whether you like it or not, I'm not the guy you want to follow if you don't like the truth. Alright? And yeah, the truth is a matter of opinion or a matter of on-site witnesses of what you see. So let's go with the token natives first. You're about to pick a man who wants to take your land from you and allow construction companies to come through. But see, these token natives are basically agents that, as long as the BIA or whoever the fuck is making sure that their pockets are fat, damn their own people. Yes, there are plenty of natives like that. You may not think that, but there are plenty of natives like that. Because the lesser the numbers of natives, but the natives in their family get more. Remember that thing I said about the casinos? How I said most of the natives get a check for the casinos? The checks aren't very big. If you're not connected to the direct motherfucker that's owning and running the casino, your check's not very big. That's why I said that most of those motherfuckers that are agents do that shit. Same thing with motherfuckers in the BIA. Same thing with everything else. If it's benefiting you but it's hurting someone else, most motherfuckers go by greed before they go by right and wrong. Alright? So to the token natives, let me refresh your memory. At some point, at some time, in 2023, Biden signed a bill into law that made it illegal for people to scalp natives. Because in somewhere in 2023, there was a city or a state that still legally allowed people to hunt down and scalp natives. Let that sit in. Let that sit in. Let it sit in. Now think about that shit. I'm part native. If I stumble into this place and I accidentally whistle at a woman or say the wrong thing to the right woman at the right time at the wrong goddamn place, they can hunt me down and scalp me. Fuck a Starlight tour. We're just gonna hunt this motherfucker down and cut him up. Even though he's not even a full-blooded native, we're gonna make sure we fuck his shit up. Donald Trump made one good native decision of having a task force, but he was throwing us a bone because of that whole Standing Rock bullshit. Alright? Yeah, you can go look that up. Donald Trump did one thing. He threw natives a bone. A bone. But it wasn't a very good bone. Especially after he made sure that the Standing Rock companies that he said he had no affiliation with were coming through Standing Rock when he got rid of Obama's decree. But I'm sure you guys are going to overlook that shit. Right? Yeah, we'll overlook that. Now for you token Mexicans and Hispanics. And you token Muslims. Let's not forget that this man said that all Muslims coming into the country were bad. For no apparent reason, you're just bad. And if you're a Muslim who support him, maybe you ought to go find that video. Now let's talk about Hispanics and Mexicans that Donald Trump said were poisoning the blood of our country. And what the hell was the other one? Oh, I got it. They're not sending us their best. They're sending us all their murderers, rapists, and drug dealers. Now, despite the shit that just happened in Georgia, he was wrong. You can't tell everybody that's coming from Mexico or any other South American country that they're murderers, rapists, and drug dealers, but he just let y'all know that everybody that's coming up and all these caravans are murderers, rapists, and drug dealers. So you're saying there's no black murderers, rapists, and drug dealers? Well, here's a newsflash for everybody watching. There are, but the higher level of murderers, rapists, and drug dealers are white people. They did a statistic on that shit. A white person is more than likely to go to his job and unalive everybody quicker than a black person. It's a fact. I'm sorry if I'm offending you. It's a fact. Go Google that shit. A white person is more likely to be a serial killer and a serial rapist versus a black person. If it's a black person, it's like one of those 1 in 1,000 anomalies. And yes, they do exist. Now, with the exception of Asian countries, where there are no other ethnic cities in there, that is where you will find the higher serial killers, rapists, and murderers who are Asian. All right? But in America, it's one and few between. One and few between. Same thing with Hispanics. Same thing with Mexicans. Same thing with natives. So you can go do your research if you don't believe me, but I'm not here to do all that shit for you. You can go do your research. Hey, fuck you, Echo. We're gonna do what we want. Yeah, doing what you want is generally how people wind the fuck up in jail, but hey, who am I? I'm just some guy on the internet trying to combat racism. And now, for the token Hispanics who are Hispanic for Trump. He's talking about you. You know, the murderers, rapists, and drug dealers. For the token Mexicans, he's talking about you. Poisoning the blood of the country because he doesn't understand it. Mexicans, by blood, are fucking Native Americans. Hey, you know, hey, Mexico was part of America. Like the whole bottom half of California, Arizona, Nevada, a bulk of Texas, all the way until you get to the ass end of Florida. But I'm sure you guys don't know about that, do you? No, you don't. Because the U.S. put borders in there and decided to take away the Native American identities from the Mexicans. But y'all don't care about that. What the fuck y'all think Aztec, Incans, and Mayans are? They go all the way from Mexico all the way down to the South American hemisphere. But, yeah, Echo doesn't know what he's talking about. But they're Native Americans. They're native to South America as well as Central America as America. Because migrations happen. But, you know, hey, if you look at the Pueblo through Arizona and Nevada and into Mexico, Pueblo. No, they build their houses into walls. But hey, now if you look at the Hopi, some of them are down there towards Mexico. But you know, hey, what the fuck do I know? I know you didn't fuck with the Cheyenne or the Apache, and you didn't fuck with the Lakota. But hey, what the fuck do I know? And you had the 5 civilized tribes. There's more than 5 civilized tribes, but for the sake of colonization, there were 5 civilized tribes. Go Google them. I'm not going to do your homework for you. Now, got those out the way. And this is the part that's most important for me, because I'm also part black. This is for the black tokens, because I want to end this and devour this crusty, busty, burnt up rusty ass Celeste frozen pizza while it's hot. You're about to vote in a mayor who wouldn't let people who look like you work on the floor with rich white people. You're about to vote in a man who wouldn't rent to your people. Pat, get your vote. Knock yourself out. You're about to vote in a man just last week who said some racist ass shit. It's not going to acknowledge it. Because it was hard for you to hear me say that I acknowledge the fact that Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. But yet, you're not going to take that shit that Trump said as racist. Oh, the lights are so bright. They're so bright. I can't see anybody but the black people. But I suppose you don't think that's as racist as the Kung Flu virus. About 5 young black teenagers hung. Just food for thought. Before you vote, better know your damn voter. Oh, yeah, I thought it was done. I will be in a second. So, let's talk to you women now. All women of all diasporas. You're Native, you're black, if you're Asian, if you're white, if you're Hispanic. Understand this and understand it now. This will be the most important part of this video. And it will be the closer of this video. I'm a pro-choicer. If a woman has the right to tell me that I cannot stick my dick inside of her vagina, I have to respect that, say no, and walk away. Go home and watch porn. Rub one out, talk to her tomorrow. But they're taking that right from women when they turned over Roe versus Wade. Did you not see what recently happened in Alabama with in vitro fertilization? Lots of lives just got changed. And you guys are going to continue to let this shit happen until you're fucking handmaid's tales, where women don't have rights. And why? Because you women who are sitting at the table with these politician motherfuckers thinking that you're men and forgetting that just like you, other women out here have a vagina. And no one wants to be raped. But they're making it now so that there will be no exception. If your granddaughter is raped by your grandfather or her grandfather or even her daddy, she's going to have that baby. And here's how this works. See, what y'all fail to understand how this works is that they want y'all to have more babies, but when the babies get here, they don't want to give you programs to take care of the fucking babies that they forced you to have. So you're damned if you do, if you're damned if you don't. And in some states, they just made it illegal to be homeless. They made it illegal to not be able to pay your bills. And they made it illegal for you to have roommates. It's kind of a double fuck times fuck. But y'all ain't paying attention to that shit, right? Because y'all are listening to Beetlejuice, your great orange savior, and y'all aren't thinking about the future. I'm 50 fucking years old and I don't have kids. Thank God I don't have kids. Especially with my luck, I would only have daughters. And my daughters would be in danger every day. Not from my brothers raping them, but from assholes on the street raping them. And then being forced to carry a baby because even though they were raped in all 50 states, we got rid of Roe versus Wade. It's illegal to get abortion even if you get raped. What happens when it's your kid? When your 6-year-old daughter's walking home, just skipping with her little pigtails and her nice little sky blue dress, just going home, home's 2 feet. Every 60 seconds, a woman is being essayed. As we are making this video, 2 women have been raped. Probably 3, probably 4. Now, for the most part, I can tell you what I learned in school with my police science degree. Most women are sexually assaulted by a motherfucker that they know. Alright? There are random encounters, but they are far and few between. Kids don't get molested by strangers unless it's somebody in the church, who technically wouldn't be a stranger because they go to the same fucking church. Preacher, usher boy, pianist, deacon, church choir member. Usually those are the people that generally are molesting your children. Which is why I would never take a child of mine to church. because I don't go to church. I believe in God, but I'm not going to church. The biggest devils on the planet run church. You don't have to believe that. I don't give a fuck what you believe, because a lot of people who are stuck on I believe don't want to accept the truth. But you women, sitting at the table with the men, throwing other women's rights away and forgetting that you also have a fucking vagina, you don't realize what you're doing, or you don't care. How far along in life are you that your life is so far over that you don't give a fuck about your daughter, her daughter, your female cousin, her cousin, your sister, your mother, your great-grandmother. Yeah, your mother and your great-grandmother, if they're older than you, they probably can't get pregnant. That does not change the fact that they can still be sexually assaulted. But you women are voting in these motherfuckers, these Republicans, without giving a second thought. Project 2025 says they're going to give supreme power to the president, which means there will be no more law and order because he wants to eliminate the Constitution, and that would be Donald Trump. You want to give them immunity so they can do whatever the fuck they want. He wants to be like Kim Jong-un. And I will say this with my full chest because no one wants to hear it, but I'm going to say it. When democracy falls, every nightmare that could possibly run through your head as an American is going to happen. Y'all remember the show where they had martial artists and they had their overlords and shit like that? Sections of the world will belong. I got a better example. There's a comic book with the X-Men called Age of Apocalypse. There's also Old Man Logan. Magneto and them had New York to Florida. Hawk had California to Nevada. And some people in the place in the middle was called the Badlands. And then I think Apocalypse had all of Canada. I think Sinister had South America. I don't really remember, so don't hold me to it. But in Age of Apocalypse, very few heroes were heroes, and they did things that they didn't want to have to do. In Old Man Logan, Logan killed all the X-Men. So there were no heroes except for Hawkeye, who was blind. And he was driving a truck. Amazingly enough. How the fuck do you drive while you're blind? But he was driving a truck. Now I want you to think about what I just said about Age of Apocalypse and Old Man Logan. Old Man Logan, eventually his Earth was destroyed and he found himself in the 616. Because the Logan of the 616, adamantium exploded and he was engulfed in it. Later, like almost a year or so later, they would find an adamantium skeleton with no Wolverine in it because he cut himself out. But no one knew what happens to him. And I stopped reading comics long before that happened. Long before that happened. But you need to take that shit into consideration. If you have a fucking vagina, not a surgically created one, but one that you were born with, where you get every 28 days or so, you have a period. You women are in danger. You're in danger of losing every right that you have. And so for the token women who were voting Republican, I just want to say this. You're not above the law. If your child gets raped, you better make sure that child has that baby just like every other poor person in this fucking planet that's going to have to do the same fucking shit because of you. My name is Echo Fan Grey Wolf. Now, if I've hurt anybody's feelings, it means that it was probably meant for you. I do not apologize for what the fuck I said. I will apologize for how I said it. I am also, sadly, prepared to lose people with these two videos. But when you think about what I said, and I hope that you do, if we don't wake up now, it's better to wake up now than wake up too late. Understand this. This is not me fear-mongering. This is me opening your eyes. See, I always thought as a kid that an alien invasion would come and there would be world peace because it would be designed that way. Blacks, whites, natives, Asians, everybody in the diaspora of Earth will realize that we're all in this together and that we're all human, and if we need to do something that works for all, not for the fucking elite. And people don't understand this shit. See, there's more poor people than rich people. And here's the part where I piss y'all all off. Kim Jong-un has been blessed. He's not in jail because he eliminated his uncle, and he's like the only living heir unless he has children of his own. Dictators fall. I understand that shit. Don't forget the Romanovs. Don't forget Anastasia. That family fell. And then Russia went ballistic. Mao Zedong fell. China really didn't change. Before they united China, when it was the Kingdom of Qin and they had different dynasties, all those dynasties fell. Are y'all not paying attention? Alexander the Great fell. Genghis Khan died in his sleep. Still, Khan legacy fell too. Every dictator on the planet that didn't have a good thought out plan or an exit has fallen. What are we going to do when America goes the way of dictatorship? There will be lots of blood shed. You don't have to believe me. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just letting you know. No. I don't have to conform to anybody. I know the oath that I took to serve and to protect the Constitution of the United States from foreign and domestic terrorists, and to obey the Commander-in-Chief. However, I also know how military protocol works. When an officer is making an immoral decision, I don't have to follow that order. And if that officer so happens to be the Commander-in-Chief, I know my duty. Therefore, you'll have to figure that shit out. But to everyone else, if you're out here and you don't know who you're voting for, do your research and wake the fuck up. If you are a female, I'm not going to tell you to vote blue or no matter who. I am going to tell you. Your voting decision will have an impact on the next generation of women until the end of time. Republicans are the only ones trying to take women's rights away. If you're members of the alphabet community, that would be the LBGTQ+. I don't know how many letters you are. I respect you, so I'm going to tell you the same thing. Especially after the unaliving of Nick Benedict, identified as non-binary, beaten up by girls who more than likely won't do a damn day in jail. Shit like that's going to continue to happen if you don't vote in your local election. And I'm sorry to say this, and I'll say it one more time. It's only the Republicans that are going to war on women and the LGBTQ community. Democrats aren't going against that. Remember, it was a Democratic president that made same-sex marriages legal. It's a Democratic president that made you weed smokers happy. It'll be a Republican president that takes it all. Women's rights, y'all gone first. I'm sorry. I told you to make the decision, and you chose to make the decision. But you also have to take the accountability for the decisions that you make. If you are a woman right now in 2024, you are the deciding factor on what's going to happen with every woman born into this world of the United States. Can't speak for the world around the world, but for the United States, if they take away the women's right to vote, the women's right to choose, the women's right to her own bodily autonomy, you'll only have more women to thank for it. That being said, I'm Echo Fangway with This is Comfort Habit number 2. Be seeing you, and may God have mercy on you all.